here we are. Here we go again.
I think we've talked about how crazy they were the whole year, right? Like, I think everybody's talked about how Trumpers have been kind of crazy the whole year. I don't understand how any of this was a surprise. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I sure knew that something was going to happen. They've shown and proved every time there was an event or something that they were involved in, like the Proud Boys or any of these right-wing people. They always shown that they can act irrational and be real stupid. Last week we showed them beating up a woman, right? That woman that got kind of beat up a little bit. And I've been watching a lot of videos like that all over the internet lately with people getting beat up. But yeah, I'm not surprised. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to say it looks like it was set up. I don't know. How do you feel, Teresa?
I'm glad it wasn't black people. I'm glad white people got to show all their crazy that we all knew that they had, and I'm glad it was them and it wasn't anybody else. Because, man, it was ridiculous. Whether it was a setup or not, it was probably just a charged blaze, okay? Somebody just set them right off, and Agent Orange is at the helm of that, even though he doesn't want to take any responsibility. Big surprise. I'm totally surprised. Isn't everybody surprised by that? No, he doesn't want to take any responsibility.
It's perfect. He's the best at everything, right? I did everything bigly and everything wonderfully, and it was a perfect, they said the speech was perfect, and that's all he says. I'm like, yo, dude, nobody's that perfect. I've never heard him say sorry. I've never heard him say he was at fault for anything.
And nobody found me at fault. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. They? Who's they? The famous they that finds you perfect at everything and thinks that you do no wrong? I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I guess it's important now to play the video clip from this conference where he says that he said people thought that what I said was totally appropriate. So I guess we'll go to video one.
Here we go.
We're joined together to celebrate a great achievement, the extraordinarily successful building of the wall on the southern border. Before we begin, I'd like to say that free speech is under assault like never before. The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for. The impeachment hoax is a continuation of the greatest and most vicious witch hunt in the history of our country and is causing tremendous anger and division and pain, far greater than most people will ever understand, which is very dangerous for the USA, especially at this very tender time. And now I'd like to briefly address the events of last week. Millions of our citizens watched on Wednesday as a mob stormed the Capitol and trashed the halls of government. As I have consistently said throughout my administration, we believe in respecting America's history and traditions, not tearing them down. We believe in the rule of law, not in violence or rioting. Because of the pandemic, horrible, horrible, invisible enemy.
I mean, I just had to cut him off at that point because it just became a rambling show at that point. So there's two things that I will give this person credit for. Actually, the Proud Boys leader, one of the Proud Boys leaders, which you already saw the clip of. It's not about just being crazy white people. It's just showing them that they can be as crazy as they would like to be. One of them is just a rich. He's a half. I don't know. He's just he's a crazy rich black person who is a leader of the Proud Boys as well. So it's just got to understand the crazy goes in a very wide range here. And I actually, that's what I've been trying to tell you, that like it's a good 30% of the country that's just out of their rocker. And they'll ferment in whatever way that they can. I think this is a years and years of build up from the Tea Party, obviously, but from other previous ideas of, we want conservative ideals, and if you don't give it to us, then we will do something abrupt, and we will do something without thought. I almost don't want to give Trump any credit for it, but unfortunately, this is the pathway to I guess a kind of performative kicking him out of office. I mean, I don't know if we even have the right to blame him for the insurrection.
I do.
I think that it's just a good way to. I think it's a good timing to do so. I think it's the appropriate timing if you're going to do so. Just I don't know if it's effectively going to do anything, right? We effectively don't know.
I totally
Wait,
blame
wait,
him.
but can we talk real quick about how orange he looked on that camera real quick? Like, I know nobody knows what he's about to do after he's no longer president, but I think he's trying to go for Chester Tito's job because he's super orange. And that video clip, like, way oranger than he's ever been.
I'm sorry. Did she just clip out on you? Because I hit a button.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah, she
lower
did.
because I saw her peeking. I apologize, babe. It was only for a second. I noticed that it dropped. Yeah, I blame him totally for it. I understand, like, you know, the whole mentality of the whole Republican Party is a certain kind of way or whatever it is, but it was his flags flying around there, hitting things and breaking things and cracking into things, and you know, he's the leader of the pack. He might not be the actual cause. Like he didn't put a gun to their head and force them to go in there and do whatever. But I think his actions and his rhetoric definitely triggered a lot of that. You know, I'll be there right next to you, and never really showed up. You know, and he never what's the word? He never really says anything negative about them doing things. You know, and there's a lot of rumors of him saying that he enjoyed it. I can't vouch for that, but I'm sure he's sitting back and enjoying this, not realizing people are dying because of the stuff he's saying, which isn't cool, you know. But
I mean, there's also multiple people who received have COVID. There's at least 3 people who have COVID at this point, most likely because of the raid on the Capitol, and these are all mostly older people. So it's unfortunately targeted in a way that there's always going to be a consequence at this point, and I'm just happy all of them are getting caught for their stupidity. I think that's actually more relevant, because we can have at least consequences for the people who have. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. This is the reason why I want to go to V3 with this crazy. I think he's out of his mind, and Ryan Gribb did a great thing for the Intercept. So unfortunately I didn't have time to clip out some of the spots for it, but just to give Ryan Grimm from the Intercept his due, showing that this is just a special type of crazy. So if you want to play V3, sorry that I had to jump you on that.
No problem.
Organizer of the gathering. Alexander, a pro-Trump personality, was an early founder of the Stop the Steal movement.
We're gonna save the Republic, right?
And helped bring together various right-wing factions around a mass event on January 6th. It was aimed to coincide with objections to the counting of the Electoral College. Alexander made his claim in 3 separate live streams in late December, adding that Representatives Paul Gosar of Arizona and Mo Brooks of Alabama were also involved.
I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea. And I'm the guy who came up with the idea of January 6th when I was talking with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Andy Biggs, and Congressman Mo Brooks. So we're working with members of Congress while other people are trying to showboat. We're really working hard because, look, I believe that the president should do something brave. I think that the vice president should do something brave. I believe that that's how we maintain the White House, and I believe that we need to maintain the White House. I think it's a moral imperative.
His claim is buttressed by another video.
So you can pause it right there.
Rally at the Arizona State Capitol, at which Alexander
so that we don't
played
give
a
it
video
too much right
that
there.
Biggs had supplied.
Congressman Gosar has been the spirit animal of this movement. One of the other heroes has been Congressman Andy.
Yeah, I just don't. Unfortunately, I just don't want to get into a DMCA issue with the Intercept and all of that. So what I can tell is that guy is just a straight on grifter. Like that guy's got a special kind of gift to know exactly what his crowd is. So I could tell that immediately that's the type of personalities that run rampant in that kind of ring. And I think that is more evident.
He looked loony, man. Like a lot of there's like I don't know what it is, man. But you know when there's something wrong with somebody mentally, I don't want to badmouth anybody that has mental issues, but you could kind of see it in their face, their demeanor, their eyes, something about that dude. Just like something's off. And like I have nothing against people that have issues, but I think somebody must have taken advantage of that issue and converted him into a loony bin. What's his name again? What's his name? I think I heard something about this guy before earlier.
Just want to make sure I get his name correct.
And they said something about like originally he was trying to say his name. If it's the guy I think I heard earlier, like he used to go by and I don't even want to say it like to disrespect any Muslims, but Allah Akbar. Like I don't know if that he changed his name. His name is Al something now, or something. I forgot his.
Ali Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander. Yeah, at one point he used to call himself Allah Akbar or something. I heard. I was listening to somebody talking about.
That's what I mean. Just sounds like another person who just found another grift, and clamping on Trump is just a way to do so.
Yeah.
So I almost don't want to give him credit, other than the fact that he might be one of those people who was relevant in creating this goddamn insurrection, and I don't even mean the actual. There's probably much more. I mean, we're not even talking about the real militarized aspect of this, where there are people. It is clear to me, and we'll talk about how black officers in D.C. are saying that they weren't listened to for a long time about this kind of conflict that could occur.
I'm worried about this weekend.
Well, I hope he's enthusiastic as he was on those videos when the FBI shows up to his house trying to arrest him. Are you still gonna be that enthusiastic, sir?
Yeah. I know. He said something about this weekend or whatever coming up on I thought it was the 16th, but now they're saying the 17th on Sunday or whatever.
They said the 17th. I don't know what's so special about the 17th, but there's some I don't know, and these are all rumors as well, which is kind of, it's hard to flush out what is just pure rumors at this point. But I hear 17th to the 20th of just protests and long form protests. So I think it's an incredible waste of space and time, but they have the right to do so. But they should be, every single person with a weapon should be arrested. What happened to all of that? Like, there's a lot of those people carried weapons into that state that shouldn't have had them. I mean, there's all of these other like holes in the system that we need to talk about now. Like
I'm sorry. I was gonna say there was an unsanctioned march as well. Like they weren't supposed to march that mile and a half supposedly from where they were to the Capitol building. Like they're supposed to have police escorts and like all this other stuff, but nobody's calling that into account. Somebody was talking about it. I was watching. I watch a lot of these like shows online or whatever. What is it? Morning Invest, I think it is one of them, where they were talking about how people they didn't account for the period of time. Like there's supposed to be police presence, and then there's no police at the Capitol. There was just a lot of weird circumstances that caused this incident to get worse than it could have been. If they would have had police presence on the march to the Capitol and police presence at the place, it would have been better. They were there for 3 hours or so before the actual National Guard showed up or something like that.
They had a lot of information prior to all this happening.
Suspicious.
That this was going to happen, and they did nothing about it. From multiple sources, you have video of Capitol Police that were removing guards, the guardrails to let them into the Capitol. So, it's like I think a lot of stuff was overlooked purposely, which I can see why a lot of people are saying, oh, this was probably staged. It was probably staged. Well, there's a lot of people going to have to pay for this.
I'm hearing it was a trial run.
Also, to give you some information, one cop was captured on tape seeming to take selfies with protesters, while another allegedly wore a red MAGA hat as he directed protesters around the Capitol building, while many officers were filmed fighting off rioters. At least 12 others are under an investigation for possibly assisting them. That 12 number was from 2 days ago, so I heard that number is up to about 45 or something like that. So that is an interesting development for the Metro Police, because the Capitol Police and the DC Police are two different fundamental things. So now they're basically, they are very like each other. They just do different things. The Capitol Force is only 29% black in a city that is 46% black. By contrast, as of 2018, 50% of Washington metropolitan police officers were black. So it's a difference of about, I don't know, 20% between these two. So it's just a good indication of maybe some of these are good old boys that are in this kind of in the Capitol Police, and maybe they have something else for themselves. They have to defund themselves. As it's reforming the police, but it's defunding the police and changing the attitude of that precinct. And then I don't know, it goes deep. All of these precincts are different and have these kind of issues.
Racism doesn't care. You know, like people that are racist, or they want, you know, a certain type of white supremacy or whatever, doesn't care. Or if they just want to keep the status quo, at least, you know what I mean? Like some of these people, I don't understand why they feel like things have been better since Trump has been around. I don't. That's why I don't think it's all, like, that's the only reason why I don't think it's all about Trump, is because I feel these times have been really trying. A lot of people have been dying. A lot, you know, that's rhyming. But what was I gonna say? At the end of the day, it's damn, I'm just rhyming left and right, right? Right around. No, I'm not rapping here. Anyways, rhyming, dying, sign. No, what was I gonna say? So, but like I was saying, a lot of these people, it's too much of a coincidence. Everything's a coincidence. Everybody, you know, it doesn't seem like it's but so much about Trump. Like they want Trump because Trump's allowing their nonsense. You know what I mean? That's why I think the only reason why Trump is significant to them, because like he's like cool with it. Oh, they ran somebody over during that that protest, you know, months back or whatever it is. He didn't say anything. There's some good boys on each side, right? Like that's his mentality. So I think that's their benefit. You know what I mean?
Their guy that's finally the one that's come along to say exactly what they've all wanted to say. Yep. You know, oh, Christmas, we need to say bring Christmas back. And, you know, all these people that have been feeling oppressed because, you know, we've been asking them to take into consideration other people's feelings, or taking into consideration other people's ideologies, or taking into consideration the fact that you shouldn't be a racist prick. They're upset about that. Like, how dare you not tell me to say the N-word or anything like that? I should be able to say whatever I want to say. And they got their knight in shining orange came, and he was able to say all those things that that they wanted to say for so long. And they got, not only that, he became our president. So of course I can say whatever I want now. That's our president. Look at all the spike in racial outbursts, all the Karens that have been further developed, you know, Karens and Kevins that we've gotten to see all over the internet. You know, they were always there. They just have now someone to back them, to make them feel justified in their beliefs and their thinking.
And I'm going to say that is the true reason why the impeachment of Trump is actually valid. That's the only reason I believe it is valid, because he has fermented this kind of environment multiple times. So therefore, there's a precedent for his words. I don't know. Let's just push along a little bit to the House impeachment of Trump. So I watched all of C-SPAN. I watched so much of this thing. I wanted to keep clipping stuff, and then I just realized, no, it's not worth it. I'm just going to play the one thing with stupid Matt Gaetz, I couldn't even listen to the whole thing at some point. But President Donald Trump's impeachment trial happened on, I believe it was Tuesday, correct? It almost feels like every day is a little bit too long at this point. The trial's timeline and schedule are largely set by the Senate procedures, so I believe that the Senate does not see it until January 19 at this point, and possibly January 21st, I heard. there's not much that it can do. If you want to just, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, if you go to me real quick. Basically, the Democratic Party did a 222, just basically all voted for yay. 10 Republicans went over, and the rest were nays. So that seems pretty on the line with how that party has been going. I honestly knew that a couple of Republicans were going to jump ship. There's no way that Liz Cheney gives a shit what happens to Donald Trump. Liz Cheney hates Donald Trump, and there's at least another 5 or 6 people who are going to lose their seats if they keep voting with Trump at this point.
Yeah, Trump is not like people. I don't think any of them like Trump. I think it's just the policies that they're allowed to
I
deal
think
with.
a lot of them have kept him though, because they've kept his secrets and all that other stuff. So they've, you know, they've been backing this horse this whole time. And, you know, it drives me crazy because really they should have enacted the 25th. But, you know, Trump said it best. Pence is a pussy. So he didn't do it. They needed to get him out a long time ago when the first impeachment came along. They should have kicked him out. But they didn't, you know. And I really blame all the Republicans for what happened, not just Donald Trump. You can't just blame him for it.